Hey fairy friends, it's the TheDollFairy, and welcome back to my adventures in doll customization. Today we'll be making an elegant doll inspired by Primarina, the final evolution of Popplio, one of the starter Pokemon you can choose in Pokemon Sun and Moon. The lovely Duchess Swan of Ever After High has volunteered to be transformed. Are you ready, Duchess? Here we go! Since the very first time I saw Primarina's design, I imagined making a doll of her. I love her gorgeous aqua hair and her pearly headpiece, and I felt so inspired by them. So I came up with some sketches to follow during the process, and then I got started with the Reroute. My Reroute tool is made with a needle with the eye cut at an angle. It's then snugly inserted into the X-Acto knife handle. I used to break needles much more often, but since I've gained more experience with rerouting, the needle I currently have has lasted me for 3 full reroutes and counting. The lighting here makes her hair look almost like an electric blue, but it's much more green in person. It's just such a gorgeous color that it was somehow much more fun to reroute than natural hair colors. Next, I painted her face. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I use Liquitex Matte Medium to pre-coat the areas of the face I will be drawing on. It just takes a drop or two diluted with some water, and I dab it onto the eye and eyebrow areas along with the lips. This doesn't create as nice of a surface as Mr. Super Clear Sealant would, but it's a safer and easier alternative that I would recommend trying if you're afraid of the toxic fumes of spray sealants. After I do 3 to 4 coats and they all dry, it only takes a few minutes for each coat to dry really, I start outlining the features with a light colored watercolor pencil. I'd finally just gotten myself some cotton gloves for doing the face-ups, but I kind of found it annoying and I don't think I will be continuing to use them. Here's a new method I just started using to make the faces more symmetrical-ish. If you take a look at your drawing in a mirror, the imperfections will suddenly be much clearer to you. I found this little mirror and you can see me holding up the face to the glass so that I can see it from a different point of view. It's really helpful and much more convenient than getting up and walking across the room to hold it up to the big mirror on my dresser, which was what I was doing before. When I'm happy with the basic outline, I go in with watered down white acrylic paint for the whites of the eyes. I'm careful to make the paint nice and thin so it doesn't look chunky, but I'll admit I get impatient sometimes and I use too much paint instead of using thin layers, which would probably look better. The eyes look really wonky and uneven right now, but don't worry, I'm gonna fix that with the paint. Next is the fun part, the irises. For Primarina, she already has a very distinctive pattern of colors and highlights in her eyes. I decided to recreate these eyes on my doll pretty accurately, even though it felt kind of wrong not to work on creating an intricate gradient in the eyes. I did end up trying to add some depth to the colors that are already there in the design. Next, I draw some guidelines for the eyelashes with pencil, and then carefully go over them with paint. I'm using a few light blue/green colors for the eyelashes at first, and then I plan to go over them with white later. Primarina has lovely white lashes in her design, so my challenge here was figuring out how to make white eyelashes stand out and look striking on her already very milky skin tone. Part of my plan for that was to use some dark turquoise eyeshadow. I pulled out the new pastels I ordered, which are Mungyo soft pastels, not the fancy ones, the cheaper ones. They were like $7 on Amazon, so I figured why not. I think, however, I might have lost the footage where I applied the eyeshadow. I used a few different shades of pink for blush and the lips. When I use pastels, I kind of feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I just pretend I'm putting makeup on my own face. And I feel kind of like I just don't know enough about how to create, highlights and lowlights in the face. So I'm thinking I might watch makeup videos to help me figure out how to do that better. After this initial round of pastels, I wasn't happy with it, so I went back in later with more pink before calling the doll finished. Finally, I finished off the face up with the white eyelashes. They stand out pretty nicely against that turquoise eyeshadow. Please don't mind that my head keeps bobbing into the shot and blocking the doll. I'm still getting used to filming while I'm working. And as you can tell, I kind of like to have my face right in front of whatever I'm working on, especially if it's detail work. Time to make the outfit. I contemplated making her an actual mermaid tail, but I liked the idea of an elegant mermaid-style gown using layers of lace even better. I created a pattern by wrapping that part of the doll in plastic wrap, and then masking tape. I draw on the seams and cut along them to create pattern pieces that I can trace onto my fabric. I'm using this lush, stretchy blue velvet for the main skirt, and including a tiny ruffle of pink organza on either hip to represent the pink fins on Primarina. For the fins on the bottom of the tail, I'm layering lace, tulle, and shiny blue organza and gathering them to create volume on the bottom of the skirt. I was pretty confused about how I wanted to put these pieces together and make it look the way I envisioned, but I figured it out eventually. You can also see a little blue organza tutu-like piece that I made for the top of the skirt, but I ended up not liking how this looked, even after adjusting it a couple of times. For the top, I decided to make a form-fitting mermaid top to put underneath a lace off-the-shoulder top. I basically made this the way you'd make a wig cap, except not on her head. I wrapped her torso in plastic wrap, tied a strip of stretchy blue fabric around her, and brushed on layers of Mod Podge. Once dry, I cut out the shape I wanted. The lace top is cut from a strip of elastic lace. It's the same lace that I used on the fins. I simply sewed this into a tube, then stitched under the arms to create sleeves. It's fairly simple, but really elegant. I decorated the top with rhinestones, and then glued it right onto the doll with fast grab tacky glue. Making her headpiece was really challenging, but it was probably the part I enjoyed the most. I used a ruffled organza ribbon, wire, large pearls, and these little white and pearl flowers for the basic structure. I bought these little starfish charms and painted them with pink pearlized paint and hung those on either side. I made a string of pearls and crystals to hang from the headpiece and attached it with thread. I also made these little pearl adornments for her ponytail. This part was a lot of trial and error, but it was a lot of fun. I also took a pair of these translucent blue heels from Ever After High's Farrah Good Fairy and painted the star details pink to match the starfish in her hair. That was really exciting because I thought I was just going to leave her barefoot until I realized these would work so perfectly. When everything else was finished, I was able to do the part I'd been waiting for, adding rhinestones and pearls. I especially love the stones that create a sort of necklace here by her collarbone, and this little belly button ring. As a finishing touch, I made her a bracelet from these Swarovski crystals. And poof! Here she is, Princess Primarina. Do you think she looks like the Pokemon? What's your favorite thing about her? I like her headpiece the best, personally. What do you think about that little skirt piece at the top of her fin? Do you like it? Let me know what you think in the comments. My next video will be continuing my Kingdom Hearts series with Master Aqua, another blue-haired beauty. After that, I'm planning to continue making the Alolan starter Pokemon, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to see more doll magic. Thanks for watching and see you soon, friends!